All right. Good morning. Good day to you all. Welcome to the Peak Wellness Hour. Welcome. You are here with myself, Angelina, and our CEO and founder of Peak Home Care Associates, Queen Edith here. And we are super excited to be with you all today. Today is actually the first Saturday of the month. So we are here with you. We're starting out the weekend right here with you all. So we want to ask you all to please subscribe wherever you're listening. Please like and please share. Please share on other platforms. Please share via text, via email to someone you know may benefit from this conversation. And that conversation today is going to be talking about stress. So April is National Stress Awareness Month. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to, of course, Queen E is going to chat for a second and, of course, bring her beautiful spirit, bring some life to this conversation, and then we'll get into the topic. So make sure you guys grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, grab a notebook, more importantly. Grab a notebook so that you can join us every Saturday and you can keep up with these notes. Okay, you can find them on replay whenever you like, but just so you can have some notes of your own, something to think about, something to dive deeper into in your own spare time. Okay, that's what we're here to do, is educate and empower. So we want to make sure that we give you the tools that we have, the knowledge that we have, the insight that we have to help you on your journey in life. So with that being said, I'm going to let Queen Edith speak. And if I'm looking down and around, I'm trying to man all these different platforms, so I'm not being unattentive. Queen Edith.
Good morning, Queen Angel. Good morning, our family, our fans, our friends, and all of you out there. Those who show up every Saturday to support us, and those who are yet to. So, thank you for always coming and showing us that you love us and you're enjoying what we're doing. Last week, we had a great conversation. We had a sensitive conversation. We had a difficult conversation, but that's who we are. We don't run away from the difficult things. We don't perfect call. We don't answer. We don't run away from the difficult things. We bring the difficult things to you. So if there's a question on your heart, please share with us, because we want to talk about it. We want to talk about the things that cause us stress, right? The things that cause us stress. And today the topic is stress. We're talking about stress and how to manage it. And sometimes the struggles we have is internal, our inability to process the things that worry us. When we don't process it, we don't talk about it, we don't deal with it, it causes us stress. But this is not the time. I'm here to greet you. My permission is to greet you. I'm being permitted to greet you and to welcome you to this beautiful Saturday. Indiana, what up?
I think you're starting out
What
okay.
What up with this weather? When are we gonna get spring weather, Indiana? When is this gonna happen? I'm surprised
Oh,
it's cold. Yeah.
is the coats are still needed. The coats are still needed. See people in shorts one day and flip flops, and then it's snowing the next day. It is crazy. That is stressful. It stressed me out. Let me tell you something. It stressed me out to see it because I love spring. I love summer. I love these seasons. And when it starts to get, I say anything under 60, I need a coat, So I'm dressed in layers. So when we get to 60, 65, maybe hitting 70, it's exciting. But in Indiana, in March, April, something's coming. And so to see so many people out in their summer clothes, not even their spring clothes, their summer clothes, all I can think is, if y'all get me sick, because I'm hearing to the change of weather, and it stresses me out. I'm like, you hear all these stories about respiratory issues right now. If people would just dress accordingly until the weather's gonna set
Right.
in, you're stressing my body out. So
Yeah, Indiana. And you know what? We are privileged also to be in the line of the eclipse, of the solar eclipse.
yes.
So from the news says we are expecting at least 150,000 people in the States. It's gonna be crazy traffic. Everybody's gonna get to some kind of a party with solar eclipse watching party. So please, if you don't have your glasses, get it. Go to Walmart, look for it. Because I'm sure most of it is gone. Maybe even if you order it on Amazon, I don't know if you can get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's probably a bit too late, but if you find someone, people order the extras. Last friends, get one and take advantage of this once in a lifetime situation. Yeah. Anyway, that's
You
me
know,
teaching you
how
now.
about that for stress? Like you said, you have a lot of people coming into the city. Not just, we're a lot of, Midwest, we're gonna get it. What about the stress with it? I know I work Monday to Friday. Yeah. So we work all the time though, right? But as far as office,
Are you working Monday through Friday?
a lot of people do, but now you have a lot of people, so what happens when everybody's closed? The schools are closed on Mondays. A lot of businesses are closed, so is it a paid holiday? Is somebody stressed about, are you having to use your own PTO time, to make up for these days where people are closed? I know I have to rearrange my schedule because I'm not getting in it. I'm not, and it's not for me. It wasn't even a big deal about taking off for
Monday.
the eclipse. It was not being stressed out about being in traffic. I'm wondering how it's going to look with, here in Indiana, the gas prices are ridiculous. Where we go from $3.49 to now $3.79, depending on what side of town you're on. Most places are $3.79. I'm driving around looking at, and I got it for $3.49 yesterday, but it just depends on what, where you're at. It's very stressful. It can be very stressful if you allow it to be, So a lot of things to think about when we talk about stress and decompressing, So I don't really I want to focus more so on opportunities to be stress-free. That would be super awesome if we would just learn how to just, like I said, it can be stressful. At first I said it was stressful. It can be stressful. Gas prices are what they are until everybody says we're not going to keep paying this, right? What do? So it's a matter of, I think a lot of stress comes from internal inability to balance, right? And digress and really kind of have some self-control over your emotions and how we react. So that's what I'll say to that. Queen.
Yeah, stress. The question I'm asking is in my mind is, why do we even get stressed? Because sometimes the situation is being on over and over again, and yet we are stressing about it, or we stress about it every time it shows up. But I believe that, and I'm not reading this from any dictionary. I'm processing why I get stressed over things, and I think that a lot of the time, when I haven't processed a situation, when I haven't faced the reality of the situation, when I haven't determined that, okay, this is going to happen and I don't know how to deal with it. So I'm stressing because everything is in my head and I can't talk about it. I'm not talking about it. I'm not processing it. I'm avoiding it. I've come to learn that I have this avoidance personality thing. Okay. So in order for me to function, I pretend it doesn't exist. And then for how long do you pretend it doesn't exist? For how long do you avoid it? Eventually catches up with you. And now you got to face it. There's a bill you can't pay. The bill collectors are calling you. The only reason they call you is because you are still in good standing, right? They can help you. When they stop calling you, and you're avoiding the call because you don't have the money. So, and you don't know how. And so why? And then you're stressing over it. You're worrying about that bill. But maybe if you just talk to them, maybe if you just talk to them, they'll give you a payment plan. They'll give you a little more time. They'll work it out with you. So a lot of the time, the reason we are stressing is we are really running away from true situations. And stress is our way of, I don't want to deal with it. I'm stressing. It's almost like a child, in my opinion. And this is not about you, because I'm thinking about me and how I get so stressed over things. Sometimes it's also fear of the unknown. You're stressing because you have a child in the streets and you're almost afraid of that child because they're involved with gang activities. You're afraid of the child. You don't know whether they have a gun, they don't have a gun in the house, and you can't talk to your children because you don't know what's going to happen. Fear. And it's legitimate. Financial fear is huge.
Mm-hmm.
But your children causing you fear because of who they're hanging out with and how you are unable to deal with it. It's huge. It's also a big deal. As a mom, as a parent, as a dad. Then we're in a season where parents are taking care of their parents and their children, and they're working, and they have so much to juggle. And sometimes you don't even know what is a priority anymore. Mom and dad are important, they're priorities. Your children are definitely a priorities. You've got to work because you got responsibilities. They are financial stress. Choosing a college, children are playing sports. You got to work, you got to go. Single parenting. Oh, life has become so stressful. The demand that the pull, everybody is pulling from you. And you can't even sleep when you go to bed, when you have so much on your mind. You can't rest. Lack of rest. Lack of solutions. Lack of someone to process it and not feel judged with. A lot is causing us stress. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. But I do know that core stress elevates inflammation. So your health is at risk. How? How do we deal with the day-to-day situations, the week ahead situations, the bill coming at the end of the month and at the end of the week and at the end of that? How do we deal with all of these? How do we take care of our kids? Make sure they're safe? How do we even keep our own home safe for our children and us from gang activity, from all those things? How do we do it and still have a chemical balance that does not cause us sicknesses that will show up in our 50s and our 60s, 70s, and 80s? How do we handle these, Queen?
I believe it's a choice. And, this sounds simple, but it's not. My response is not a simple fix all, but it requires a choice. It requires self-comprehension where you know yourself. You have to understand yourself to know yourself. And a lot of us don't understand ourselves. A lot of us react, we respond, we engage, we initiate based off of who we believe we are. And we have no substance behind who we are a lot of times. So when if you don't understand that you have a choice, and you're not in bondage to all these things, to your bills, to debt, to you know, being overworked and overwhelmed. When you understand the choices and the possibilities of balancing those things out, it makes all the difference. I think it's more, it seems to be, and you know, as we deal with you know, primarily senior care here with Peak Home Care Associates, of course we deal with other individuals that may have developmental disabilities, right, regardless of age. So when we're talking to families that are dealing with those kind of situations, you know, and you say, well, how does someone have a choice that is dealing with an adult child that has been disabled their whole lives? You know, the choices come from understanding how to maneuver for your benefit, for the greater good, if you will. You know, I don't want to say benefit like being selfish, but you know, when we think about things, I think it makes it a lot easier when we're younger, you know, when we have time on our side, you know, to be able to make these things, or you maneuver a little better when you understand at a younger age. As far as advancing, when Queen Eda was talking about as we get older, you know, once we're older, like I said, we deal with seniors. Once they're older, once we are older seniors, we don't have the option to invest the same way, you know, to start earning and saving the same way, to start building legacy the same way. You know, you don't see someone 70 trying to, you know, buy a home, you know, on average, because why? You know, so I think understanding how we have options and choices and moving through that in life and choosing the right choices can alleviate a whole lot of stress. We tend to not think about the right now. We tend to not think about the future, you know. And like you said, you know, ignoring these phone calls, you're not really thinking about the right now, because it all goes hand in hand. You know, if you can't be responsible now, how can you be responsible 10, 20 years from now? And if that's how you think, you have to change, something has to change. So where do you get to that point where you can't be, you know, 40 saying that I'm in the streets, you know, I'm doing ratchet things, you know, that has to end somewhere. You think at 40 that would end, that it wouldn't even be a conversation, right? But it is. So how did I get from 20 to 40 being ratchet? Who says I'm gonna go from 40, and not me, but I'm just saying, you know, but how do you not go from 40 to 60 being ratchet? And I've seen people live this life where now you're in your 60s and you always made poor choices when you had better choices. And now all you have in your life is stress. And you've built, it's like mounds of stress based off of poor choices and poor decisions. All it takes is one bad decision to mess up a lot of stuff. All it takes is one good decision to make everything great. It's a choice. That was a long-winded answer, but that was my answer.
Well, it was you talked about, you made mention of 3 or 4 things that I wrote down. You talked about self comprehension. You talk about choices. Self comprehension does not happen when we don't even know who we are. And you've raised some solid points. You talk about choices now without considering tomorrow. We talk about automatically, I'm 15 years, I'm 25 years. Oh, I can live life like this. When I get to 40, it could be better. But it's not an automatic thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what I'm getting from what you said is one poor choice and another poor choice, and then we don't go back to fix it. We don't go to the root to say, why am I even doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And so because we haven't dealt with the root issue, we haven't gone back to say, okay, it's because, I do this financially, I don't know how to manage money. How do I learn to manage money? What are the choices I can make today that even if it's saving $10 a month, 10 years from now, it may seem like nothing now, but it will be something, so we don't do anything about the situation, and day in, day out, we just add on and add on. Then a molehill suddenly becomes a mountain, and because we started at 25, by 40 is bigger than we can deal with, and it ultimately catches up with us, and it continues to cause us stress, because now it's become a bigger problem. As a minister of the gospel, somebody said the serpent in Genesis became the dragon in Revelation. So if you continue to feed on wrong choices, or feed wrong choices and live the wrong way all the time, what happens is that by the time you get into your middle ages, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever you consider mid ages, because it's a long stretch of age, it becomes bigger. And then, if we don't take care, we're going to pass on some of these things to our children. We live stress, stress, stress. What happens is that all that stress, again, your body is keeping a record of it. And eventually it will give you back what you gave it. Inflammation is going on in your system. Okay, your knees are hurting, your head is hurting, your kidneys, you're not drinking enough water, you're so stressed, your system is constantly in fight and flight mode, constantly anxiety. So it will give you back what you have given it. Everything we do in life, we are sowing seeds into our tomorrow. So what can we do today? What can we do today? Right now, what can we do? Because there are things you just can't do. What can you do right now? What can you do right now? No. What can you do right now to change?
I think a good start is prayer, meditation, whichever, however you want to look at that, on a religious and spiritual standpoint. Consistent prayer and meditation is key. That is where you're balancing yourself, where you're going within yourself, and you're searching those places. You are finding that comprehension. You are connected with your creator, with your higher power, with your God. So that is an awesome way to start the day. It's an awesome way to break up the chaos throughout your day. It's an awesome way to end the day. You stay in sync with divine, that in itself is a great stress reliever. On top of that, breathing exercises, you're getting frustrated, you're sitting at the wheel, instead of banging on the horn, busting up your arthritic wrist on the steering wheel, screaming with the windows up and nobody can hear you. You're about 3 curse words from a stroke. Okay, why don't you just stop and take a breath or 2 or 3? Because even if you're doing 60 and 40, that red light's going to catch up and all you've done is waste gas to get there. I know, I've learned the hard way. You're zooming, trying to zoom past everybody, and all of a sudden we both wind up at the red light together. And all the while I done cursed you out because you were taking too long to get up here. Those breathing exercises, taking time to remind yourself that life is going to happen. And all you can do is what you can do. So like Queen said, you can't change everything. You can't fix everything. But knowing that whatever happens, whether it's foreseen or not, what does it look like when you respond? What does it look like when you're doing this and cursing and acting crazy at work? Do you think, and then you wonder why you can't get promoted? But you're the best of the best at what you do until you start doing all this, and you don't have any comprehension of that, because everybody gets it. You're just the crazy chick that's just flying off the hinges because that's what she always does. No, it looks unprofessional, to say the very least, but we're not thinking like that. So taking a moment to always remind yourself to stay centered, okay, is going to be the key. Life is going to happen. Life is going to happen. How do you respond? You can't stroke out. Stress, strokes, heart attacks. You can't, because life's still going to happen. Now you got those bills. You just stroke out at the wheel. Now you got hospital bills and no insurance. What are we doing? What are we doing? Just saying.
Let me say this. This is a serious conversation, Queen. This is a serious conversation. One thing. How are you looking at the situation right now? Your perception of that situation that's causing you stress. It's your perception. It's not the situation that's causing the stress. It's your perception of the situation that's causing the stress. So how are you looking at this situation now? It's perception, they say, is reality to the person perceiving. So is it possible that you could look at it from another perspective? You see, the key is having peace. Queen, one of the things that I've come to learn is that we are busy, so busy. We don't take a minute to sit down, like you said, center. Just have that 5-10 minutes and breathe and turn your phone off and just have that silent moment with yourself, with your God, with whatever it is you connect with that brings you that inner peace, that centers you. Because I can get away from this. But we are three in one, just like God is. Remember? We were made in the image of God. We are three in one. So we have a body. Your body is a personality. Your body has a personality. It responds to what you give it. It acts to how you behave. Your body is a reactor to what you do, what you feed on, and all of that. So the messages you're hearing, the people you surround yourself with, all your body is responding to every single. You have a soul. Your soul is made up of your will, your thoughts, and your emotions. So once again, your body takes what everybody is taking, your soul hears it, your will and your emotions react in the way that your mind or your thought process it, and you give it to your body. So your soul is literally your thoughts, your actions, your soul. Your soul area is determining what you're eating. Because when you're doing weight loss, they work on your emotions. You see, some of us are emotional eaters. When I'm stressed, I go to the refrigerator and whatever is in there, I put in my mouth. I'm so stressed. I just don't know what to do. So I'm doing everything wrong. So all your soul is actually controlling it. But there's another part that can bring your soul into control, your spirit. So you are a tripartite. Let me put that way. You are a multifaceted person. A lot of things inform our reaction. So we need to be careful the things we are surrounding ourselves with. Right? It looks like we are talking about the things that are causing us stress. What are we surrounding ourselves with? If I know I'm an emotional eater, when I'm not going through all these emotions and I go shopping, let me find things that are healthy for me. Don't load my freezer with ice cream. Because no matter how many times, how much ice cream I have, it's just a matter of a day, 2 or 3. They will be gone. So don't load it. I don't say don't have it. Eat it. You can have your ice cream. But if you have just a little bit, you can eat in moderation. You see, we are not moderating our lives. Something else is controlling us. We are letting situations control us. And those things are causing us stress. You are not in charge. And that's the thing with being busy without being productive. How many of us have 10 jobs and still can't pay bills? Oh, where is the money going? So it's not about how much money you are or you're not making, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about that. There is more to it. Where is it going?
Mm-hmm.
You know, God forbid, you work 3 jobs, you lose 2 of them today. You're back where you started.
Mm-hmm.
What have we done with that money? Some people shop for therapy. So what if you don't work and you don't have money to shop? What are you going to do for therapy, for self-care?
Mm-hmm.
That's where counseling comes in, because I'm a counselor. I just have to bring it in. A counselor helps you to go to the root of your situation. Why do you think you react or you respond this way? What stopped you from going, looking at it from that other way? Because the reason you did it this way is because of the way you were looking at the situation. Have you thought about it from this angle? And sometimes going to the counselor it provides you with a safe space to talk about and to just bring it out. So the more you talk about it in a safe and secure space, the better you process it. I don't know if Queen, if I've done this with you. Sometimes I'll be thinking about something and then I'll talk about it with you or with somebody else. And the more I talk about it, I say, oh, I get it, because I'm processing it.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us don't have the opportunity to process because you know what? Trust is missing. We can't even trust our pastors if we go to church. We can't trust our leaders and the people we talk to because you know what? There's going to be a conversation in the church and now you can't go to the church anymore because everybody's talking about the situation. But there is always a safe space to process these things. We must. You must have that place. You call it center, self-centeredness. Every 2-3 hours of your day, you got to center. It calms you. It really helps you to manage the situation. Being busy so much without being productive or fruitful or seeing anything is really running away from the realities of our day. It is.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was sharing this. Yes, I agree. I think it's, since we're talking from Peak Home Care Associates, I think that is something very important that you just brought up as far as counseling and therapy or whatnot. I think that it is important for caregivers to have that safe space, whether you are a healthcare provider, especially family members that are caregivers. I think that's really important. I think that it would alleviate a lot of family breakdown, a lot of family disconnect. There are a lot of caregivers that their marriages are compromised because you're taking care of an in-law. The children. If you have a younger parent, you have young children. Those things are affected by you being a caregiver. And to alleviate some of that stress, I think it's really important that there is a safety network outside of your family, even. Support groups are great. I know here in Indianapolis, they have all sorts of dementia support groups, grief support groups, all sorts of things. We have to remember when we're talking about grief, it does not always mean that there has been a loss of life per se physically, but there is, when your spirit's not aligned, when your mental's not aligned, there is a loss and there is a grief that goes along with that. And stress a lot of times is the reaction from that grief, from that loss, and we have to realize that the way we are wonderfully made, we are made to be able to be whole again. So when you ever see somebody that has an expensive piece, glassware, whatever, crystal, and you drop it, crystal, you can't put that back together. Glassware, a nice teacup, something that was significant to you, and you break it and you see it there on the ground, shattered. And how many people have ever thought to themselves, oh, can I put that back together? If I can just put that back together, something significant, something that's priceless to you, it cannot put that, you see it in pieces. And sometimes we try. You might see the cracks and crevices, but if you never knew it was broken, you wouldn't necessarily see the cracks and crevices.
You might think it's a decoration, it's the way it's made.
But how. So the marvelous thing is that we can be put, but we can be whole again. We don't have to continue to point out our own cracks and crevices, and chips. We can choose to be whole. Things have happened to me. I experienced this. I went through that. Okay. But now that we're back together again, what does that look like? Are you still that person that went through that experience? Who are you, an overcomer? Are you a survivor? Are you a warrior? You see, and it's hard to choose to be the survivor when you've been a victim for so long. It's hard to choose to be up when you've chosen to be down, or you've had to be down for so long. So we have to come to a peace within ourselves that it's okay to heal. It's okay to find a safe space. It's okay to trust, but you have to trust yourself first. That way, when people screw you over, when people, come short of your expectations, you're not upset because you understand the process. You respect the process. We have to give a little more grace and mercy. That's why we stress each other out. There's no grace and mercy. We're all so sensitive about everything. We don't give no grace and mercy with nobody anymore. We're so harsh and so hard because we're so broken. Heal, So, when it comes to caregiving, I definitely think that it's needed for that safe space to find yourself, and to respect and understand others. Like you said, the conversation that we had last week, it did go deep, but something we did touch on when we were talking about the conversation of discrimination. And not just, we were just talking about race for you all that didn't see that. Go back and watch that. And the links are in the descriptions where you can go see that. But something that was key that we talked about was having to understand someone's, like you said, perspective. We have to understand why somebody thinks the way they think, because a lot of times people seem like they think really quirky, but we don't understand the underlying foundation, the belief system that goes behind how someone thinks and then processes things in life. And it's stressful for a lot of us. And we focus on the wrong things at all the wrong times. So, yeah.
Wow. Time flies. This morning it feels like a motivation morning, and I like it. I'm thinking about what you said about death. And how many things die in our lives, and not people, not mom, not dad, not brother, not sister, not child. That's not what we're even talking about. That is a whole other level. But something of even greater level is when something dies inside of you, something you love and you cherish, and it's taken away, and it feels like death to you. It feels like death. You especially, let me come to jobs. When you lose your livelihood, when you are demoted, or for some reason the business you work with is closing down, or what do you call it, whatever it is, and some of you have to be let go. And this is a job you've done for 20 years, and you pride yourself, you make good money. Even if you don't make a whole lot of money to sustain, you've been there for 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, and suddenly you have to let go, you lose it. They make you go. They compensate you, but It's not like having an income for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly you are nobody. I watched The Resident, and at some point, one of the doctors who was a powerful diagnostician, who would diagnose anything, was let go. And I remember him saying in the video, he says, in the movie, he says, I don't know who I am anymore without what I do. I feel lost. I can't see myself being a great husband to the woman I just got married to. So maybe I should end the relationship because I can't be me anymore. I don't know anybody out there who feels this way sometimes. You lose your job and you don't feel like you anymore. You lose your marriage and you don't feel like you anymore. You lose your child and you think your world is over. I don't know what losses we are losing. You lose your home and the world is on your shoulders.
Lose your independence. What about your independence?
Yes, you get married
You
and
know,
you love your husband or you love your wife, but after a year realize that your life, you feel lost in that marriage, right? You lose that independence of you take your money, you do whatever you want, you get up, you pick your purse like me, you go wherever you want, nobody's asking you. You lose that independence. What? What do you do? What do you do? Get help. Like she said, there are support groups for almost everything these days. If you don't want to be in a group to talk about your situation, listen, there's always that one person that will provide that safe space outside of your family, outside of your friends, outside of your work network, outside of whatever it is. Something private, something quiet, something just for you. Get that one-on-one counseling sessions. Get it. We need it. You know what? Also take that time for you. Vacations could be expensive, but you don't need to go on a vacation. How about finding a park, some place, the weather is getting better, where you can go and sit quietly and just reflect and have that moment. Find a day of time when the children are all asleep. Leave the dishes, leave the toys. Go into your room, a place where it's okay for you, where you can find a place, even if it's just sitting or laying on the floor and just resting. Because when you have the ability, your mind is able to rest and you achieve a certain level of balance, you can think through better. Anybody who is stressing does not think. A couple of days ago, I had a call on my work line. We had signed up with a new payroll company and they just wanted to know how things were going and all. And the lady meant well. Meanwhile, at the same time, I was doing on payroll, I was looking at the bank account, making sure we have enough money to get to payroll. And those things that you deal with, that it's not normal for everybody, but it's becoming my normal thing now. And this lady is calling me and asking me questions. I'm like, lady, I love you and I appreciate this call, but this is not a good time. You're asking me questions. I know you mean well, but I can't think right now. I'm not able to even think and give you the answer. Can I call you back? I had a friend on my personal phone. She started laughing. She said, Edith, I've never heard anybody. This is a good one. I've never heard. I said, what are you laughing about? This is not fun. She said, Edith, you said you can't think. You told somebody on the phone you can't think enough to even answer their questions. And I've never heard this before, but you were so straightforward. And the person, I'm sure, understood. And so I can think, seriously. And sometimes you just need to voice it. This situation of being so politically correct that we show up was one thing, we're dying within. It's killing us.
And and I'll say this to piggyback off of that, Queen. In the meantime, while you're waiting to talk to whoever you need to talk to, journaling is always something healthy to do. Don't leave those things inside. Write those things down. Write down those thoughts, write down those frustrations, write down those dreams and goals, all those things. Don't keep them by inside waiting for someone else. That is an awesome way to help you process. You can look back on what you wrote, what your thoughts were. How did I feel then? What did I say then? How did I say I wanted to react then? Oh, I would have kicked her butt, yada, yada, yada. I'm 42, 1942. You never see me write nothing like that. I might call the police. I'm not gonna fight. At 20, I may have been fighting, not today, but I can write those things out, and this is how I feel. And I can look back and say, you know what? I wrote that I wanted to kick her butt. That's not even plausible. I'm looking a month later, that's not. Now, why did I feel that way? Why did I have that much anger? That much animosity? So those things, write out your truths, things that you may not want to say to a counselor or a therapist. You might say to yourself, well, I wrote down I wanted to kick her butt because, I'm deep in my religion, but I really want to say I want to shoot her in the face. Excuse my language, but I'm just saying, so you don't want to say, because you're thinking something harsh, but you don't want to be thinking like that, so you're rationalizing why you're saying, you're going back and rationalizing your thoughts and your your thinking process and your perspective when you're writing those things down in that journal. And sorry to get graphic, but I'm just keeping it real. That's how we think a lot of times. We blurt the most bizarre things out of our mouths, and it's the issues of our hearts, and we try to dance around it, and but when it comes from your heart, you can say, kick her butt, but everything in your face and your rage that's coming out of you is saying something totally different. We need to get that together where we can just say, you know what, this person is not for me. I just got to walk away. I just got to let it go. I'm just going to bless them or don't bless them, but just walk away. We have to get to the point where we can not be so emotionally involved in the chaos of the world when it's not a relationship for us, So get you a journal and date it. Make sure you date it and put the time on there. I was up in the middle of the night at 3:00 in the morning talking trash in this journal. What were you doing up at 3:00? Could you have maybe prayed or meditated? Instead of, what, so write those things down, put the date and time, and reflect and be accountable for yourself, be accountable for your actions, and be accountable for the way you think and how you affect and infect other people. Be accountable.
This is so good on so many levels. You know what? Even if you're too lazy to write and type, listen, a lot of phones these days, I don't know anybody who doesn't have a smartphone, have voice notes.
Mm-hmm.
You can take your phone, record yourself. All right. Open your voice note. Today is Saturday, March 6, 2024, and it's approximately 11 a.m. And this is how I'm feeling. I am so angry. La 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 la. Listen, say it to yourself. I remember when I was married, and I'll be angry at my husband. And in those days, we didn't have cell phones. And I'll be so angry. And he'll drop me off at work, okay? And I'll take a notebook and pen and sit down. You see me writing frantically, writing him a letter. Write. Sometimes 4 or 5 pages. And I put a letter because he's gone to work, he's dropped me off work. There's no way I can get the letter to him. Okay, so by the end of the day, I close at 5. He's coming to pick me up at 5 o'clock. And then I take the letter and read again. And I read the things I write. And I say, okay, this is a bit too harsh. I'm not going to give this to him. Maybe I'll write another one and write another one. So by the time I see him, I've processed it through the writing. Not everybody is ready to write these days, right? We're too busy with ourselves. What about just recording like you're talking to this person?
Mm-hmm.
In psychology, there's something called the Gestalt therapy. And everybody knows it. I put a chair in front of you and address the chair like that person is in front of you. It's called Gestalt therapy. Put a chair there and take your recorder. Whatever it is you want to say it to the person. Go back, listen to yourself. So journaling, iPhone has a journal, automatic journal, and it's very cute. So it will record where you are at a certain time and says, Edith, it's time to journal.
Mm.
You journal. So it's just a lot
like
going
that.
on. You have an iPhone, you don't use it. Update it and use it. There's so many ways to journal these days. Use your voice, you record yourself, look at yourself.
Yeah. You know what we don't need to be doing though, Queen? This is what I want you all to understand. Everything that we've just said, I guarantee you there's benefit in it. What you all need to stop doing for your own benefit is having these conversations on social media where you're ranting and raving and saying the most negative of things that you need to probably shouldn't write down anywhere because there might be evidence. Stop getting on social media ranting and raving about your issues and the idiosyncrasies of your chaos and your mess and your poor decisions and your poor happenings as far as how you engage. That is unhealthy. And that's why people run around just running off at the mouth like diarrhea, thinking it's okay. You can say any and everything. No, you can't. You need to go. That is a key indicator that you probably do want to tap into a counselor, coach, therapist, something of the sort, life group, positive group, because that is unproductive. And what you're doing is you're attracting anybody that's engaged in that and sitting there listening to that and liking and sharing. You are infecting negatively the masses. And you're not helping the situation. The very people that are giving you a thumbs up are probably the very people or the like-minded people that are a part of your demise that you choose to engage with. And so when you look up and you wonder why everyone around you is always negative, always causing trouble and drama and chaos, take a look at what you're putting out there.
You're putting out there. That is so true. And it's an avoidance thing. You don't want to face reality. So misery loves company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go looking for company and you will get the company. And then you wonder why valuable people are walking away from you.
But I'll trash Edith on social media. I'll trash Edith all day long in every Facebook post. But I won't never call Edith and say, hey, Queen, I wanted to talk to you about something that happened a year ago. I was mad at you a year ago. You pissed me a year ago because you didn't answer my phone call and you think you're better than me. And why can't you just say, hey, Edith, I want to talk to you because my feelings where I feel like you don't understand me. I feel like what you said was hurtful. I feel like you were insensitive. What you did made me feel embarrassed. I chose to feel embarrassed. You can't make me. I chose to feel embarrassed as a result of what you did. My feelings, I chose to have hurt feelings as a result of what you, that's what it is. Edith can't hurt my feelings. I can choose to be hurt by what Edith did. Edith can't hurt my feelings no more than Edith can make me happy. I can choose to be happy based off of what Edith did. But it's a choice how you feel. Nobody can make you feel any kind of way. If people could, then it'd probably be a better kind of world, because I be trying to make y'all feel good all the time. Y'all just want to feel like, I don't know.
This is so good. Like I said, this is great on every level. Once again, you brought about the way to think about it, the perception. I feel this way as a result of this thing you said or did. And that's my grand rising, Queen. So as a result of the way what you said, this is how that makes me feel. It's easier for the person to listen to you. It's easier for the person to respect that, and it's easier for the person to apologize. And it speaks volumes about who you are.
Mhm.
How matured you have become. Because it works better that way in every relationship.
Mhm.
Not saying you made me, you made me, you made. The moment you attack, what do you expect?
Mhm.
A defense and a counterattack. But when you put it that way, I tell you, communication is a skill, it's an art. It's an art, and we all have to figure out how to communicate with the people in our lives, the people we love,
Mhm.
without pushing them so far away.
Mhm.
Because we're humans, and the tendency to hurt somebody is real, it's there. It may not be deliberate.
Mhm.
Because how I'm raised and how you're raised and everything that makes Edith me is not you. It doesn't matter whether we are sisters from the same parents.
Mhm.
As we grow older, we go different ways, we go different schools, we're impacted by different people. So we become different. It doesn't matter. Nature affects your DNA. That's something I don't want to go into right now. It's nature.
Such a good conversation.
Yeah, nature gets into your DNA. Because the environment, listen, I'm from Ghana, West Africa. Let me give you a real example. When I'm in America and I talk, people say, "Oh, you have an accent. Where are you from?" Okay, I'm from Ghana. Okay. I go to Ghana. They see me straight up. They know this girl doesn't live here. I open my mouth. They know, oh, she probably lives in America. I don't fit in the typical Ghanaian woman. I'm a Ghanaian
Hmm.
woman. I was raised in Ghana. There is a part of nature that affected me whilst in Ghana. I relocated to the United States. The environment of the United States have affected me in such a way that I don't fully fit in Ghana.
Wow.
It's gone into my DNA, the way I talk. It's gone there. It's become ingrained in my system. Nature affects your DNA.
Mhm.
The way you think and process things is different from the way your mother did, your sisters do. It's different because of the environment you have
Mhm.
created around you, the friends you hang out with, the places you've been, the work, even your work environment affects you. So I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical person, but I work in the field and it's affecting my outlook towards life. It gets ingrained in your system. So I don't know how I got to nature and nurture right now, but we are affected.
Ooh, I love it.
We are affected by all of. I don't know where I was going when this came in, but I guess I'm saying all I'm saying is that we need to be careful who we surround ourselves with.
Mhm.
All those things impact us and cause us grief, cause us stress, cause us a lot of health issues. So we have to be deliberate about our choices. Choice is key and is definitely predicated on your perception of the situations you're dealing with. Queen, I have to end here. I'll let you finish and then.
I don't appreciate that. You ended just well. Oh, I'm just sitting back in awe. I'm sitting here thinking I want to hit nature and nurture next weekend.
We can do nature and
I
nurture.
do. Oh my goodness, what a powerful way to end this conversation. I can't follow.
We had some notes and we didn't even touch on those on how to manage stress.
We did
Some of
not, but I'll tell
all the
you.
courses. So maybe we will continue next week.
Okay, yes, it is national stress
Stress.
awareness month. So you all can go, I have to put it on YouTube, but if you go on Facebook, the Peak Wellness or the Peak Home Care Associates, you can see that article. And you can get it from nationaltoday.com talking about stress awareness month. And so dive into that. We can definitely do this again next week and finish this conversation and get some balance this month with our caregivers, with our loved ones, with our friends and family. This was an awesome conversation. It's never the hour goes by so fast. This was a good this is an awesome conversation. I don't know about you all, but I certainly feel uplifted right now. So I want to invite you all to make sure you do subscribe wherever you're listening right now. Please like and share. This was a really powerful conversation. Last week was super awesome. We always have amazing conversations, but we've been hitting the nail on the head the past couple of weeks. So we definitely want to share this conversation with you all, with your loved ones, with your family and friends. So please help us engage. You can look at the links in the description. Peek everywhere. Peek Home Care Associates on YouTube, Facebook, the website. Make sure you check out the blogs.
I
Talking about
think we have an Instagram account. We are not doing justice.
yes, we do. I haven't put it up there. Shame on me. Shame on me.
Well,
Let me do that.
The last time I opened that account, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So check us out. We're everywhere. So check us out, Queen Edith. Check out her page on Facebook, all kinds of talks. Don't let her fool y'all. She be getting these conversations and these deep, important and powerful conversations.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but since I'd like to invite you to maybe if you have time sometime next week or next 2 weeks, I want to start the conversation. I want to talk about the woman. Who is a woman from your perspective? The help, the wife, the single one. I want to invite you to one of my shows, and we'll choose. Normally, I do Sundays, but if Sunday doesn't work for you, find a day that works, and we want to talk about the woman. I want to have a panel actually to talk about the woman, and I like to have a male in that panel because it's one thing for us to think what about who is looking on from the outside. So, yeah.
That would be cool. I would love to. If you do it on Sundays, we could do it on Sundays. If you're looking for a panel, I mean, since I don't know that was your thought, I'm definitely down. If you are wanting that panel, anyone that's listening, I reckon they can go to info@peakhomecareassociates.com and email you.
Yes,
somebody will get it. But
yes, definitely.
Yes, and any other conversations you are looking to engage in, if you have any questions, if you have comments, definitely you can always put those in the comment section wherever you're listening. But our information scrolling at the bottom is an awesome way to get a hold of us and connect with us. So yes, I'm there for that, Queen. Absolutely, for sure. It's gonna be fun.
We'll talk more about it. Yes, but ladies and gentlemen, wow.
Yes. Awesome. Definitely. I'm there for that. Yeah. So yeah, you have to definitely keep up with us. I don't like to use the word follow because I don't follow anyone. I like to network and connect and grow with you. So I want you all to network and connect and grow with us. You don't need to follow us. We are all leaders in our own rights. So we want to keep up with you. We want you to keep up with us. So the information's on the bottom of the screen. Like I said earlier, if you're listening, if you just chimed in, always go back and listen to the beginning. We always work. We are always working. I'm not stressed, but we are busy. So
we are productive.
We're productive. So with that being said, we are going to let you all go. We have to go because we have work to do in the community. But please like and share. We appreciate you all being here with us whenever you can get in. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the connections and we love you all.
Before you go, Edith has to say this because lately I've been watching the Pacers and all the games. Listen, Purdue is playing tonight, right? 7 p.m. It's a way to distress. Watch it on TV, do whatever, but watch it, enjoy it. Have some friends, kick your feet up, and enjoy because they're doing so great. Go Indiana, go Pacers, go Purdue, go. I'm excited.
Let me tell you something. It sounds like Queen Edith is having a party at her place and she's got African food that she's cooking, and I just need to know what time to show up and what to bring.
Well, it's tonight at 7, but we can have a party and do a watch over tomorrow if you want to.
Will there be African food?
It's always African food in my house. I live alone. I do African.
Okay. You all hear that. Like I said, I feel very uplifted.
Yeah. So yeah, you're coming. Then I'm getting the jollof rice. I know that everybody can eat jollof rice and fried plantains. Oh my favorite.
Mm. Oh,
And maybe
sounds so good.
make you some hot ginger drink too.
Ooh. Ooh, sounds good. You all drop us some lines and let us know how you're distressing. That's what I'm planning on.
I
It
think one
works
of
for me.
the days that we're gonna do a cooking show. I'm gonna make a simple. I'm gonna make sure you have to make African pancakes, Ghanaian pancakes on the show.
That's what I'm talking about.
It
All
takes
right.
10 minutes or less to put the batter together, and then
Mm.
you fry. We'll do the batter together. I think we'll do that. It'll be fun.
Yes, it will be.
Bring you a taste of Ghana at peak.
Sounds deliciously good. All right, you all. We're out of time. You all join us again next Saturday, same time, 10-ish. 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can always catch on the replay again. Please subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, peace, love, and blessings to you all.